What is up, dudes? Welcome back. It's me, Random Internet Person here, back for another Mosquito video. This time actually going to be doing a little mission. Currently in the channel map, again, time period. We're at High Halden, and I'm going to get it started up real quick, and then I'll give you a little brief on what we're going to do today. To get our door closed over here. Preemptively opening the windows, making sure our parking brake is set, and it is. Master. Going to get these guys on the outer tank. Props full fine, cracked throttles, ground crew, start priming.
Copy.
Left mag. There we go, there's number one. Right mags. There we go, two good starts. Switch those guys over to our main tanks. Do a little cockpit management. Radiator flaps open, and compass. Looks like we're heading 095. And altimeter, as always, is standard pressure for us. Also, a question I've got, 1013 standard pressure. The attitude indicator, I was reading in the manual, it said something about caging and uncaging it. I do not know where there's a switch to do that. If any of you guys know, let me know in the comments. Go ahead and preemptively get our trim set here. Rudder, for me, these are what works. Rudder to the right on the R position of trim. Down here on ailerons, and again, it probably looks like a lot, but because both engines are rotating to the right, get a lot of left roll when you're on your takeoff. And we're super heavy today, going to be using flaps, so I want a lot of nose down trim to kind of minimize that pitching up action. While we're waiting for our airplane friend here to warm up, let's take a look at the map and see what's going on. What we're going to do, we're in High Halden right here. We're going to fly to Hawkhinge, where we're going to pick up our fighter escort. There's three of us, three Mosquitoes. We're going to pick up three Spitfires here. We're going to fly along the coast. Here's our Egress grave lines. The entire coast of France defended with AAA and Flak. So this is kind of the weak point. Going to fly down here. Once we get to Gravelin, I think, 180 heading, and we're looking for Saint Omer, which should be one of the largest cities down here. If I could satellite, should be fairly obvious, and it's kind of to the west of this forest, so we'll have a pretty good visual reference. And if we zoom in some more, you'll see some railroad lines here. This is the target area. There is some infantry, AAA, and of course Flak at Saint Omer down there, and then going to egress the same way, hopefully in one piece. All of these are allied bases, so I can divert wherever I need to. I just need to get back to England, hopefully in one piece at the end of this. Let's bring our RPMs up to 1200. I have this tendency, and you look down in the cockpit to look for your altimeter, because the RPMs have the same kind of hand reading, like where you've got a short one for the thousands and a long one for the hundreds. Tend to glance over there and like, what's my altitude? Oh shit, that's way off. Also going to do a little run up today to show you some of the modeling of the systems in the airplane. Pretty good. I've seen other sims that don't necessarily model some of this stuff, and it's cool that these are actually in here. And then it kind of ties into this conversation I was having with somebody on Reddit about not being able to get the engines feathered. What you'll see is that that feathering process, the entire control mechanism for the prop RPMs, is tied to your oil system. So if you're shot in the engine and you see your oil pressure starting to decrease, you can probably assume, of course, that you're eventually going to have the engine seize up, but I would preemptively feather the prop before the engine stops completely and you lose that oil pressure and you're not able to. It's better to do that than to have to limp it home with just a massive amount of excess drag of a windmilling prop out here. Trim set, let's go ahead and throw some flaps in there for takeoff. We will do 20. Oh, too much. friends down there also warming up. We are getting into the ballpark. What I'll do, I'll taxi up to that hold short. We'll do our run up, and then hopefully by the end of that we'll be nice and toasty. The smoke from the engine, as I've discovered, appears to be a visual glitch that I think ED is aware of and they're working on it. It's not an issue with the operation of the engine. Alright, get that park and brake on. Alright, what I'm going to do, props full fine. We're going to go ahead and bring this up to 0 boost. I'll just do both at the same time. So what I'm going to do is feather the left engine first, and you're going to see a drop in RPMs, a rise in your manifold pressure, and you can see that oil pressure change as well. Oil pressure drops, boost comes up, back to full fine. 2, 3. So you can see that that oil pressure is tied into that the feathering system with props, right? So that's, I think, presumably why this guy was having a hard time feathering his props. If you wait until the engine's done, you waited too long, generally speaking. You need electrical power, and you're going to need oil pressure. RPMs come down, boost goes up, oil pressure goes down. 1, 2. And 3. It's cool that all that's modeled. And again, like the guy was having an issue, it seems to be tied in kind of to the basic operation of the system, which is nice to see. Control wipe here. And I'm actually going to leave this up today. I don't know if it provides actual protection. However, I did have the pilot get killed yesterday and had to fly from the right seat on the way home, and it made this kind of weird situation where you couldn't use... I could use all the stuff that you could reach easily from the right side. So I had access to the rudder trim and the aileron trim, but not the elevator trim. I could use the rudder pedals, but couldn't use any of the radios. I couldn't adjust the prop controls or the throttle. So basically I had to fly back at almost full power. I mean, it's probably 12 inches of boost or something like that into the traffic pattern, which was interesting. Once I got on final, I just pulled the fuel levers to shut down the engines, make sure we're on the heaviest tanks here. And we are. Shut down the engines and then glided it in for a landing. And again, it couldn't use the brake either. I'd like to see maybe a refinement of those things, because obviously if you're able to use the stick to manipulate the controls of the airplane, I would assume that you would have access to the brake because it's on the effing joystick. Trying to get lined up here. That's looking pretty good. A little bit of back pressure until we get to 60. 60, let it come forward. Waiting for that tail to come up, hopefully before we get to these trees at the end of the runway. Oh, it's already flying, there we go. Tap the brakes. Gear up. And we'll take those props back to 2850. Take a little bit of flaps out. And I'm going to do a little lap here to let them catch up and try to rejoin on me before I eat it to France. you kind of get over your VMC speed there of about 170, I'm good clean the flaps up. There he is. Slow down here, bud. And there's 1. We'll wait for 3 to rejoin on us, and then we'll start heading towards the coast and climbing. Right, there's 2, I think. 3 over the departure into the runway. Our smoke has stopped now. Pull it back here a little bit, still some more, and try to let them catch up before we get too far. I mean, I'm at, shoot, 8 inches of boost and going 220 miles an hour. She rips, bud. Should be here in our Spitfire escorts taking off here momentarily. Start climbing. I want to get as high as I can by the time that we get to the French coast. At least 20,000. Kisa annyeong. Ne chingu. See how she climbs. I'm gonna try to keep it at like 14 inches of boost for our climb here. And once I get to 10,000, we're gonna turn the oxygen system on, which is over here, this little valve. We're gonna rotate that back towards us, and then our oxygen is controlled right down there between those 2 gauges next to the clock. It said for, what I've been doing is just turning the supercharger into auto, which doesn't really seem to matter too much because, again, you're not going to get that charge into second gear until you're probably to a high enough altitude anyway. But it says to turn it on once you've run out of throttle travel on, I guess as you're climbing. So once I get this maxed out, we're not staying at 12 anymore, I'll go ahead and kick it on. And usually, alright, Springfield 1, that's our escort. Usually once you get to 13,000 feet is where it's going to kick on for you. We'll hear the second gear, but it's not a tremendous change like it is kind of in the Spitfire. Probably just because they're a little bit heavier, a little bit more drag. Passing 7,000 feet. Kind of turn a little bit more to the south here. slowly inching up those throttle levers to keep increasing our boost. The higher you climb, the less pressure there is, so the more you're going to need. Getting stair is fairly impressive. I'm going at 1,500, almost 2,000 feet per minute with 2,000 pounds bombs. Get that nose down just a touch. Alright, the throttles are full forward now, so I'm going to go ahead and kick on the supercharger into auto. We're just coming up on 9,500 feet, so you should hear it kick into second gear once we get to 13,500. Feet. I'm going to go ahead and switch on the oxygen. And I'm going to switch it to the external, the wingtip tanks too, and let those feed for a while. A little bit more in line with the coast here, so we're not going too far north. Minimize our travel time a little bit. There's that second gear, you just heard it kick on. Doesn't do too much for the boost, at least as far as I can tell. There's some Spitfires back there. But like I said, 3 Spitfires, 3 Mosquitoes. You can just see the French coast out there. And what we're looking for, we go a little bit further to the east. Gravelin will have like these 2 really long jetties that stick out of the ocean that are pretty distinctive. So clouds permitting, should be easy enough to figure out how to get there. Just passing through 15,000 feet now. Trying to get this trimmed for hands-off. I will say that the aileron and the rudder trim, they seem to be just fine in terms of holding the airplane for you, but probably the pitch axis, the elevator trim, could use a little bit more granularity, a little bit more fine-tuning. It kind of feels like there's this point where you get the nose almost trimmed, and one tiny little tap forward is too much, and one tiny little tap backwards is too much the opposite direction. over. Not paying attention to where I'm going. Alright, it's going to be a little tricky to see with the clouds and the sun. Passing through 18,000 feet now. Start flying towards the French coast now, looking for those jetties sticking out into the channel. Probably going to level off at 20,000, 21,000, because at 135 miles an hour now, and we're getting less than 1,000 feet per minute, so probably not going to go too much higher with this load. So again, we got 2,000 pounds of bombs. Getting slow. Alright, there's 20,000 there. Are we still climbing? Not really. Let's go ahead and trim this thing out. Bring our props back a little bit more. See how fast we can get it. I would like to be as fast as possible once we hit the French coast because, like I said, we're going to have to fly through a wall of flak here. Trim it. You can kind of see what I'm talking about here momentarily, so the nose is starting to come up a little bit. If I press one click forward, now it's going down. One click back, stabilize, and now it's kind of going back up. Like I need a little bit more precision just there in the middle. Something else, I don't want to fly directly over the jetties at Gravelin. I mean, I'm assuming at 20,000 feet, it's going to be no problem for Flak to get up here, but if I have a little bit of slant range, because most of the artillery along the coast is going to be centered around the cities like Dunkirk and Calais and stuff like that, if we get a little bit of slant range between us and the port, maybe it'll be a little less heavy. Maybe being optimistic on my part. That's it right there. I can see the two jetties sticking out. So let's aim just to the right of that. Probably the heaviest anti-air artillery is going to be to the east by Dunkirk. Calais is over there off the wing now. So we're going to split the difference. So I lost 1,000 feet here. just barely see it there. And now while we're over the channel, let's go get this stuff set up. Let's go bombs on. Let's go wings first and nose fusing. So those guys are hot now. Also, since I'm in cruise now, I probably could close the radiator flaps, but one of the things that I've had a bad problem with is once you start getting into combat, forgetting to reopen them and then cooking the engines. So I'm probably just going to leave those open for now. It's not going to have too big of a aerodynamic impact for us. Like I said, going to aim just to the right of these jetties. Seaplanes are not a phase. Thank you and welcome. Maybe turning this thing into a seaplane today. See how she goes. It's actually pretty fun when you lose one engine where you can still kind of limp it back. It's a cool little challenge and unique now to DCS as the first multi-engine piston plane. So some tips, if you do lose an engine, obviously you're going to want to feather that to keep it from windmilling and causing a little bit more excess drag. Once you do that, get the prop lever all the way back, fuel idle cut off, mags off once it's feathered and stuff like that, and then we're always going to turn into our good engine, and we're going to try to maintain our minimum control speed, which is 172, I think. Alright, we are coming up on it, boys. Getting a little scared. So I get to be the lucky guy that goes in first. Thanks, Flight. Appreciate it. Let's see if we can see our target out here. Alright, there's that little forest I was talking about, and that little city right there is Saint Omer. So the Railyard should be just on the left side of that city. I'm going to aim straight for it right now since we're over Gravelin. Could be totally butchering that name too. It's French, and I'm a pleb. Once we get past the coast, and I feel like the flak is kind of thinned out, I'm going to start descending a little bit too, so we're not doing a 22,000 foot dive on this guy. You will rip the wings off. Also have noticed the wing flex is well implemented. I don't know if you'd be able to see it today, and I don't want to be stressing it out too much, but flying around with friends the other day, I did notice that there's pretty good wing flex on here. Oh, there we go, Flak. Just saw a couple bursts back behind us. bad as I expected it to be.
Springfield 1, tally AAA at 4275440.
Hello. No holes in the wings yet, boys. Alright, I'm going to start it into a little dive here. Edinburgh Radio, welcome and thank you. One of the things you can do too, if you need to bleed off some speed or if you want to maintain a particular airspeed, if you do a spiraling dive and load the wings, it's going to keep you from accelerating. Favorite aircraft of all time? I'd say mine's the F-14. I didn't know anything about the Mosquito going into this, but I was interested to get a World War II piston with twin engines, and it's been awesome. I've really been enjoying it. Alright, it's going to be just on the other side of these clouds here too. .75mm cannon. Yeah, how much ammo did that thing carry? Because it feels like with 4 20mm cannons, I mean, admittedly better than the Spitfire, but it feels like you're kind of out of ammo sooner rather than later. I'm going to go around these clouds too. Let's maintain some visual here. Everybody still alive back there? Yeah, 57mm probably. I mean, I guess you could use it against air targets, but I imagine it's one of those potato launcher type shells too, where there's not a tremendously high velocity. Which is one of the good things about 20mm. Alright, where... Oh shit, let's go. Second element, engage bandits, F8. Alright, there's the airport, right there is the city, there's our target. Alright, see if I can do this without ripping the wings off. Speed's staying okay.
Springfield 1, tally AAA at 4616417.
Alright, it's coming up now. 380, I'm going to be careful on the pull off here. Railyard, you can see the trains parked down there. Do 2 bomb passes, and a gun pass, and then GTFO. Bombs away. Let's go VB. Bomb bay doors, get those guys open. Alright, get hit there. Flights. Engage ground targets.
Engage targets of opportunity. That's 4165417.
I don't know if I scored a hit with that first bomb. Those first 2 bombs. The good thing about having some wingman is they're not all concentrating on me. Oh, it looks like I did, right in the middle of that train. That was a bomb run right there. Bombed away number 2, close those doors, switch me to some guns. Hell yes. 2 hits on the train, yes. Should we do another pass? Oh, that's not good. Manifold pressure on the right engine's way down. Alright, we're gonna GTFO, boys. Oil pressure. Alright, I'm gonna try to get as much altitude as I can back here with the airplane. You know, she is skidding pretty good. Let's get some trim. Alright. Probably gonna lose that right engine. RPM's now at 1500. So I'm getting half the RPMs on that side. Still have to go back out the way that we came in. Say we did a pretty good number on the Railyard, though. I'll take that. See if we can make it back. I'm probably not going to fly all the way back to, where did I take off from? High Halden. I'll try to divert to Manston. And I'll let them bomb that one and get them to rejoin. Flight, rejoin.
Flight, join up.
I'm going to need them to help provide some protection. Hopefully the AAA at the coast is going to go after some of those guys too. Because if it's just us flying at this speed. Trying to do that. I'm going to leave the RPMs there for now because I need as much power as I can to get to a high altitude without cooking the remaining good engine. If I was already at high altitude, I'd go ahead and take it out. The good thing is the left engine is our critical engine. Yeah, she is toast, man. We're flying on one engine already here. Alright, let's go ahead and cut that guy out. And feather. And let's go ahead and turn that off. I need to get some speed here too. Come in hot on a right-hand dive when attacking. That makes sense. Man, we are screwed. I am just now 3,000. And not doing much on the airspeed here. Temperature's really high in that left engine too. I need to bring that back. Well, wish us luck getting back through the coast. Still, buddy, I need you to stop over here. What I could do, let's say flights cover me, and maybe they'll attack the flak targets. And these Spitfires as well. still windmilling. Alright, temperatures have come back down on the left engine. That's good. So it would help to have one of those throttles that have two axes. This is not going to be good. 3,500 feet, 170 miles an hour. Place your bets, boys. We gonna make it through here or not? I expect Flak to start popping up right here. Go on, get him then. Save your boy. I wish the right engine would actually feather. Oh, ow. Now the left engine is hit. Looks like there's an oil leak too. Alright, more of that, guys. As long as it's on the right side, I don't care about the right side. I need that left engine to keep working though. Nipple. Oh shit. I just lost the left one too. Feather, please. Yeah, see, that's an example of what I was talking about a little while ago. Lost oil pressure, and now it won't feather. Did exactly what I said we didn't want it to do. Right engine. Still don't know what's going on with you. We're at 3,000 feet. Best glide, I'm guessing somewhere around 140. We'll stretch it till we get to 1,000 and see how far away from the channel are we at. Still probably a little closer to the French side. Coming up at 1,000 feet, I'm gonna have to bail. Pull. Do I need? Come on. All right. Do I need electrical power for this? That doesn't work either. Nothing works. I'm out of here. Boy, you didn't bail out. Get out, man. Well, hell. Let's see where we're at. Say we're a little bit closer to the French side. That'd be a long swim to get back to England, guys. I don't think we would have made it. The good news is we did. Let's go check out that Railyard. We did a number on it, I think. Wrong. Where'd you go? I'm lost. There it is. Decent, decent. Are there sharks in the English Channel? I don't know. I feel like we were... Can I see myself on the F10 map? I can't. We're somewhere in this ballpark. I know there were some ships out here. It would have been a long swim, but I think we would have made it. I at least survived. Nothing on that mission went according to plan. That was also a little short little mission there, short video. Guys, Edinburgh. Was there a bridge at the train? I didn't even see it. I was pretty focused on surviving. Didn't work though. Oh, there was a little bridge there. Took out some trains. That was the primary goal. No one told me about the bridge. And I do know that now, as of the latest patch for this particular map, all of the bridges on the map are destructible. So I guess I could have done. But again, good luck hitting, for me, good luck hitting something with bombs. You can see how accurate. I got one, first one hit on this train, I think. Second one's right there. Not bad. But not the most precise thing in the world. Anyway, that was good fun. I wish that the engines had performed a little bit better. Maybe get past this flak. If I could send my guys first ahead of me to absorb some of that flak, maybe it would have worked out better. But I was just kind of limping in at 170, 3,000 feet over this little spot. Tons of flak and stuff down here. Anyway, guys, thanks for hanging out. short video today, short stream. We will see you next time. Peace.